So Caitlyn didn't wear 22 when she was a kid. She's not going to be wearing 22 now. And it's one of those things where it was just obvious. But now at least Caitlyn Clark talked about it herself, because people still, to this day, were telling me I was wrong and the Team USA had it out for Caitlyn by telling her she couldn't wear 22. Let's take a listen.
Picture with Cameron Brink rocking number 17.
I know.
Where'd the 1-7 come? Was that just a jersey that
pick,
you get? I was about to say, for these practices, they kind of just hand you over. 17's not the
best number ever. I wouldn't have picked that.
But look at her face when she says 17 isn't the best number ever. I wouldn't have picked that either. That's not just disappointment. It's someone who's had to endure months of conspiracy theories about her Team USA treatment. And the story behind why Caitlyn Clark wore number 17 at Team USA camp actually reveals something most fans completely misunderstood about international basketball.
So the players that have been on the national team prior get to continue wearing their jersey, like that practice number jersey or their jersey, obviously until they're done playing on the Olympic team or whatever happens for the next Olympics. And then all us newcomers, there was a lot of young people at that camp. We just get assigned a random number. I guess I got 17. Nobody asked me, but it was fine.
And they also made sure to not give anyone their actual number. They made sure to not give anyone 22. They didn't give Citra on 22. They didn't give 22 to Caitlyn. They didn't give Paige 5. Obviously, or Angel 5. They didn't give anyone.
Here's what actually happened. Team USA has a tradition stretching back decades. Players who make the Olympic roster keep their practice jersey number for life. Veterans like Brianna Stewart and A.A. Wilson already own their numbers, which means every newcomer at camp gets whatever numbers are left. No exceptions. Not for LeBron, not for Diana Taurasi, and definitely not for Caitlyn Clark. But during that July 2024 training camp, social media blew up with a completely different story. Fans claimed Team USA deliberately gave Caitlyn number 17 as a sign of disrespect. They said the federation was snubbing her by not letting her wear 22. Some even suggested this was why she didn't make the Olympic team, that they were giving her an out by denying her preferred number.
Yeah, I would say 17 is not a but. 17 used to literally be banned in FIBA. You were not allowed wearing number 17, 18, or 16 through 19. Every other number was fine. These referees, the sign was 2-1 for 21, 2-2, 22, 2-3, 23. But the signs, the actual signs for 16, 17, and 18 for referees. 15 obviously was that. I'm pretty sure it's this, as a former ref, it's this, that. For 17,
Notice
18,
how
19.
she explains that 17 was literally banned by the Indiana Fever at one point. Numbers 16 through 19 couldn't be worn because they matched referee hand signals. That's how specific jersey number rules can get in basketball. Yet somehow, fans convinced themselves that Team USA's numbering system was personal. It's far more straightforward. Team USA follows the old FIBA numbering convention, restricting jerseys to numbers 4 through 15. France dropped this rule about 10 years ago, but the United States kept it as tradition. It had nothing to do with individual players and everything to do with maintaining continuity.
When I played junior national teams in the past, we have like a bag tag, like a sticker on your backpack, and it says all the players that have worn your jersey. So it'd be like,
so dope.
If you're number 6, it'd be like LeBron. I think he was number 6, or and then you'd have the women's players and obviously all the men's players, which is really cool. You get to see who kind of has worn your jersey.
This is the detail that should have shut the controversy down instantly. Team USA gives every newcomer a bag tag showing every player who's ever worn that number. LeBron wore 6. Kobe had different numbers throughout his career. It's about legacy and history, not about making anyone feel unwelcome. When Caitlyn played for junior national teams, she saw this tradition firsthand and understood it wasn't personal. But that didn't stop thousands of fans from spinning an entirely fictional narrative about Team USA politics.
I really don't think they're going to change it for Caitlyn. I really don't. I reckon my assumption is that they would be more likely to change the rule for Asia than for Caitlyn. But you just never know. They might. They might. I doubt it. But you just never know. You never, ever know.
Here's where it gets interesting. She points out that international basketball used to require numbers 4 through 15, but that rule changed years ago. Most countries abandoned it. Team USA chose to keep it. That's the key word, chose. This is tradition, not regulation. They could change it tomorrow if they wanted to. So the question becomes, would Team USA ever break tradition for Caitlyn Clark? Specifically, would they let her wear 22 if she makes the 2028 Olympic roster? The answer is almost certainly no.
And here's
why.
So that's why Team USA have for tradition. That actually, I didn't even realize that. That's actually why they did for tradition. But that makes a lot of sense now. That makes a lot of sense. That makes way too much sense. But yeah, it is what it is, I guess. It is what it is. And that's why Caitlyn Clark is obviously not wearing she's obviously not wearing the number 22, and I don't think she will probably ever wear number 22 for Team USA, and unless they change the rule. And will they change the rule for Caitlyn? I doubt it. I really doubt it.
Watch how casually he talks about the possibility of Team USA changing their rules. He says they'd probably make an exception for A.A. Wilson before they do it for Caitlyn. That's not a slight against Caitlyn. It's just how USA basketball operates. A.A. has already proven herself with Olympic gold. Seniority matters in this system. But there's a deeper issue that gets overlooked. USA basketball is the only national program in the world that actually has to incentivize players to participate. Nikola Jokic wants to play for Serbia.
Luka Doncic prioritizes Slovenia.
For most international players, representing their country is the ultimate honor, more meaningful than an NBA championship. American players see it differently. For most of them, WNBA championships mean more than Olympic gold. An Olympic roster spot is prestigious, yes, but it isn't the pinnacle achievement, which creates a unique dynamic where USA basketball has to make the experience compelling enough that players choose to participate instead of resting in the offseason.
Like if you see Jokic wants to play for Serbia most of the time. Luka wants to play for Slovenia. Most of these international players would rather play for their country than play for their club. Whereas in America, it's the opposite. The NBA ring or WNBA ring means more. Whereas if Luka Doncic wins an Olympics, dude might retire. He literally might just say, you know what? I'm done with this sport. I'm done with playing in America. I'm going back to play at Real Madrid. I'm going back to play in Europe. And by the way, like I can see when it's all said and done, Luka Doncic and Nikola Jokic leaving the NBA.
The comparison to European players is key. He's right, Jokic or Doncic could leave the NBA if they suffered a career-threatening injury. They'd go back to Europe, play for their home clubs, and finish their careers where they started. Their identity is tied to their national team first, NBA second. American players operate differently, and that's not a criticism, it's just a different basketball culture. But it means USA basketball has to be cautious with traditions and protocols. They can't bend rules for individual players, even superstars, because it sets a precedent that could unravel the system. What makes this whole controversy so absurd is that Caitlyn Clark never complained about wearing number 17. She understood the tradition instantly. She knew the rules going into camp. The only people with an issue were fans who didn't understand how Team USA operates. And those fans spun a narrative that kept going for months. Even after she explained the numbering system in interviews, people kept insisting it was a sign of disrespect. They wanted to believe USA basketball was treating her unfairly because it fit their pre-existing narrative about how the WNBA and basketball establishments supposedly undervalue Caitlyn. But the facts tell a different story. Team USA invited her to training camp as a 22-year-old rookie. That's extraordinary. Most players don't get that opportunity until they've proven themselves in the WNBA over several seasons. The invitation itself was a mark of respect, not disrespect. The jersey number situation reveals something bigger about how fans consume WNBA news. They see Caitlyn wearing 17 instead of 22 and instantly assume the worst. They don't check the actual rules. They don't consider the historical context. They just leap to conclusions that confirm what they already believe. This happens constantly with Caitlyn Clark coverage. Every interaction dissected for hidden meaning. Every decision by coaches or officials gets twisted into evidence of bias. Sometimes a jersey number is just a number, assigned according to a long-standing tradition that applies to everyone equally. The irony? By turning everything Caitlyn does into controversy, fans actually make her job harder. She has to spend interviews explaining basic rules and traditions instead of talking basketball. She has to navigate questions about drama that doesn't even exist. It's exhausting and distracting from her performance. Will Team USA ever change their numbering tradition? Possibly. Rules evolve, but not because of social media pressure or fan complaints. Change will come if USA Basketball decides the tradition no longer serves its purpose. And if it does, it will apply to everyone equally, not just one player. And based on this interview, Caitlyn seems perfectly fine with the system. She understands the history and respects the tradition. The controversy exists entirely in the minds of fans who think they're defending her, when she doesn't need or want it. What this really shows is the gap between casual fans and people who actually understand basketball culture. International basketball has different rules and traditions than the WNBA or college hoops, and those differences aren't arbitrary. They're built on decades of history. Respecting that history is part of representing your country. So the next time you see Caitlyn Clark wearing number 17 for Team USA, remember what it actually means. She's part of a legacy that includes every great American player who came before her. She's following the same path as legends of the game. She earned her spot at camp through performance, not special treatment or exceptions. The jersey number controversy was never real. It was manufactured by fans who misunderstood the system and assumed malice where none existed. Caitlyn herself put it to rest in this interview, explaining the tradition clearly and without complaint. The only question now is whether fans will finally accept that explanation or continue inventing drama where none exists.